All right, well, good morning. Thanks very much for coming out today. Appreciate everybody being here. Today, we're rolling out the Metro Council Minority Caucus's plan for a safer Louisville. There are now 12 members of the Minority Caucus on Metro Council, an unprecedented number that the voters of this community have entrusted to us to make policy on behalf of them. Every single one of the people up here and as part of this Minority Caucus had theirs as their number one campaign issue, public safety, making this community a safer city. And we're making good on those promises. We've been already underway in executing an annual legislative agenda. We've seen a lot of success there and demonstrated results, and this is just more of the same, demonstrating to the people that we're doing exactly what we said we do when we got into office. Each member of the Minority Caucus is playing a role in each one of these, in different policy positions that we're taking here. So this is not going to happen overnight. We're going to execute this over the span of approximately the next year, and every single member of the Minority Caucus is going to be part of that implementation. One of the messages we want to convey is that this is a comprehensive plan. This is both what we can do as a Metro Council, as a city, but also what other agencies that support this city and these constituents can do to help. That includes the state, that includes the sheriff's office, that includes the judiciary, that includes the prosecutorial branches of our local government. We need everybody rowing in the same direction. We need all hands to the pump if we are going to make a significant difference in law enforcement and safety in this city. We wanted to start with introducing why we're here today, which is that September is Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. And I can't think of a better way to kick things off than by introducing my colleague Dan Syme Jr., who led the charge in designating this month as that.
Thank you. Thank you, Caucus Chair. We're here to make Louisville safer. And my first act when I took office was to designate September for Law Enforcement Appreciation Month. I learned to appreciate our officers in my father's restaurant in the South End when the Charlie District used to come in, and we would march pizzas out to them when they wanted to eat. And I learned to serve our officers because they served us. I know we've been in a lot of turmoil with our first responders and law enforcement, and I wanted to show them how much we appreciate them. So my first act was to show them, and every year show them in the month, for an entire month, that we do appreciate them. And there's ways that you can show your appreciation for these officers. They love donuts. Take them some donuts to their district. Take them a gift certificate so they can go out and eat. We've provided some safety equipment for them. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have a special day in safety to honor some of the exemplary LMPD officers that we have. So any way you can to find a way to thank a police officer, we ask you to do that this month, and not just this month, throughout the year, but designated September as Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, and we thank you, LMPD.
Thanks, Dan. Our proposals as part of this plan fall into 4 broad categories. The first category is safety on our streets. People must feel safe as they are using the public amenities in the streets of our city. Improving the quality of life of every Louisvillian by having a safer community. Significantly increasing transparency within our judicial system and the court system through both our prosecutors and judges. And then completing our juvenile justice facility and looking at building a new jail for this community. Now I'm going to introduce, the next person I'm going to introduce is Jenny Mulvey-Woolridge. She's going to talk more about the work that she and some of our colleagues have been doing in order to improve safety around our streets. Jenny?
Thank you, Caucus Chair. As we recognize Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, I want to also begin by thanking the men and women of not only LMPD, but also Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, Louisville Metro Corrections, and all of the cities around Louisville that help support us, such as Sively, St. Matthews, Anchorage, and so many others. along with the other partner agencies who work every single day to keep our community safe. Their dedications allows our neighbors, our schools, our businesses to thrive. Public safety is one of our highest priorities as the city, as myself, personal as a council member, but also as a wife of a law enforcement officers. Everyone deserves to feel safe in our city and on our streets, in our neighborhood, and where we work. Ordinances updates that we, as council members, are looking to do. We've been working to amend these ordinances to eliminate street solicitations. It is not safe for drivers, for pedestrians, or those soliciting. We are also looking to increase restrictions in sensitive areas such as shopping centers, banking institutions, and other key hubs. Public education and alternatives. While giving money to those soliciting is well intended, it can contribute to ongoing challenges. Instead, we will focus on programming like Another Way and other services-based alternatives that help provide help, healthcare, housing, and job support. To raise awareness, we will launch an education program, including signage, and guide people to resources to create long-term solutions. Community policing. We will continue to work closely with LMPD as their focus continues to increase, as we will ask them to strengthen their presence in neighborhoods, working directly with residents to address concerns and improve safety and proactive enforcement. ATV enforcement. Illegal ATV use is causing damage to both public and private property and creating unsafe conditions. We are looking to increase penalties locally, and we may work with state lawmakers to enhance laws to give enforcement more tools. Additionally, we'll explore a targeted ATV enforcement pilot program in neighborhoods where this problem occurs most frequently. Human trafficking prevention. Finally, our administration has already taken steps to crack down on human trafficking by increasing monitoring of spas and so-called massage parlors. This work will continue in partnership with law enforcement and community agencies. These actions reflect our community to safer order and community well-being. But more importantly, they demonstrate our gratitude and support of our officers who protect us every day. This month and every month, let's stand behind our enforcement officers and work together to build safer, stronger, and a compassionate city.
Next, I'm going to introduce a man that really needs no introduction. He's been around politics for so long, coming from the state house and now coming to serve his community here on Metro Council. But I couldn't think of a better person to talk about the need for a juvenile justice facility, jail, and the work that we need to focus on than my friend and colleague, Kevin Bratcher.
Thank you, Chair. Several years ago, when I was a state legislator, there was a spike, if you can remember, and it was COVID related, but there was a spike in juvenile crime. Some terrible things were happening out there for our kids under 18 years old. And I went to the police chief of this city at that time and said, what is causing this? And she said, the number one driver is the juvenile crime epidemic. She called it, it's her words. And we have no place to take them to try to reach them. If a child commits a horrible crime in this county right now, that child must be taken 2 hours away before they can have a counselor talk to them, before their clergy can talk to them. It's just ridiculous. It's an emergency situation that we don't have a juvenile detention center here in Louisville. We're like one of the largest cities in America that does not have one. And nobody seems to want to recognize that, especially the state, who is responsible for juvenile justice. There was a consent decree 25 years ago that said the state of Kentucky must take hold of the juvenile crime issue. And they are dropping the ball as far as Louisville is concerned. Department of Juvenile Justice needs to be up here, pretend like it's a dam getting ready to break and flood the whole city. That's the emergency status that the state and its leader, Andy Beshear, should be down here in Louisville saying, what's keeping this from being built? As a legislator, and many of my colleagues from Louisville, we funded this. It's been over $30 million at this point, given to get this facility back up to snuff. And I appreciate Jared Bauman, who I'm working with, and he's going to start picking up the ball there here in Frankfort. Working with Jonathan Joseph, my councilman friend here. Whose nose did I hit? And he's been great. He's a teacher at Butler High School, and it really does take a village to reach these children, because the minute they turn 18 and they commit a crime, then, you know, they're going to the big house, the big house. We can reach them if we have a place. Say a child goes out here and steals a car. We want to bring that child, keep him here in Louisville. Right now, they either release them to the community or they send them to Adair County or Warren County. What we need to do is have a place to come here, sit down with counselors, and the city of Louisville has promised to provide services to these children. Sit down with their clergy, their family, and counselors, and try to turn their life around. It's one of the saddest things going on in Louisville, and nobody seems to be paying attention to it. These children need to be turned around before they do something at 18, and there's no turning around at that point. So I hope Andy Beshear will listen, the state will listen. The mayor has been great on this, and the Louisville Metro Council has been great. We need a juvenile detention center in Louisville. Thank you.
Yeah, Kevin, you get to stand in the back. You're too tall, man. And then I'll just add that in addition, we need to finish. We've had multiple reports in this city that reflect that we need a new adult corrections facility as well. Every report and every examination of our current facility says it's inadequate in every possible way. It is inadequate as far as its capacity to defend the judiciary for a moment. They feel a lot of pressure. I've spoken to judges. They feel a lot of pressure to not put people into our corrections facility because of the overcrowding issue. Whether somebody should go into the jail or not should have nothing to do with whether or not it is overcrowded. It should have to do with whether or not that is the right place for them at the right time, given the crimes they have committed. In addition, if anybody, I don't know how many people and members of the media here have visited our corrections facility, nobody can claim that it is appropriate to the task. It is woefully inadequate to ensure the safety of the inmates as well as the safety of the staff, as well as provide services like mental health and addiction services to those that are incarcerated there. Other cities, we have toured them, we have seen what is possible, and we can do this in a much safer way that ensures that the people that are assigned to that facility are there safely and the staff are there safely. A few other points to bring up before we go into questions and see if any other colleagues have any other comments. I want to highlight what I was talking about earlier about getting assistance from other agencies. And I'll cite, for example, and this is not a confrontational thing, I hope they take us up on the offer, for example, Kentucky State Police or the Sheriff's Office. For example, in the Sheriff's Office locally, we've got an issue with safety at bus stops. We've got an issue where we are understaffed related to traffic guards at school crossings. Can the Sheriff's Office help us with that? I would hope they can. When I drive to Bowling Green and I'm going down I-65, I regularly pass Kentucky State police officers doing highway patrols. If they did nothing but just assist us with a few highway patrols in this city, we could see increased traffic safety and take the pressure off some of the LMPD officers and how hard they're working to maintain this city and keep it safe. There's been a lot of scrutiny of LMPD, rightfully so. Every government agency should be scrutinized. But law enforcement is a three-legged stool. We have law enforcement, we have prosecutors, and we have the judiciary. Law enforcement is arguably as transparent as they have ever been in the history of America. We literally have them strapped with cameras in Louisville, and everything they do when they interact with the public is recorded. We do not have the same level of transparency in our prosecutorial system and in our judiciary. I want to compliment David Nicholson. When the story broke about shock probations and the concerns around that in the recent case, I asked him for data on shock probations amongst our judicial system. He was diligent and very quick to present data on what is going on. And just to give you a sense of what we see happening, there is an incredible difference between judges and how they are adjudicating shock probation cases. On the one end, you have a judge that grants shock probation in about 33 to 35% of cases that are assigned to them. On the other hand, we have judges that grant shock probation at 90% of the cases that come in front of them. We need the public, not we as in elected officials, the public who elects these judges needs transparency related to that, and we're going to start requesting that data related to the judiciary and their actions are publicly available to the people that they serve. We support the creation of a judicial scorecard. The city of Atlanta has had a judicial scorecard for quite some time. We know that there are people working on that right now in the city of Louisville, and we want to see the ultimate completion of that. Related to the county and Commonwealth attorney's offices, again, we ask for more transparency related to the work that they are doing. Officers regularly charge people with, let's say a handful of charges, and then the prosecutors, whether the Commonwealth attorney or county attorney's office, and it's totally legal, there's nothing untoward about it, but the public should know how many deals are being cut, how many charges are being dropped, who's making those decisions, and why are those decisions being made. I think, again, if LMPD is going to have this level of scrutiny, we should be scrutinizing those that are taking the charges from LMPD and what decisions are they making before it gets to the judiciary. These are ideas that we're rolling out that build on things that we have already accomplished as a caucus. For example, we have funded land for a new law enforcement and first responder training facility. We have passed a secondhand metals ordinance. Kevin Kramer couldn't join us today, but he led the effort on that to stop copper and other theft in our city. We funded a new LMPD headquarters and first responder wellness center. We've added flock cameras, real-time crime cameras, and traffic feedback signage. And we've been working on ordinances already in the books, such as the teen curfew. These can be useful tools in clearing areas and helping to bring de-escalation. There's already, I don't know if you all know this, we already have a juvenile curfew law in the books. Does anybody know when the last time that was enforced? I'm unaware of it, but it is on the books. And why aren't we enforcing these basic things that set basic expectations that children should not be out at certain times of the night? Finally, this is the beginning of a process. We've already, for example, Councilman Bratcher has filed, it was filed yesterday, it will be read into the record this Thursday with its first reading, a resolution about speeding up the construction of the juvenile justice facility. We have many other letters that we're going to be sending to the appropriate parties related to the requests we're making on transparency, and we have more ordinances to come. This is going to take some time to execute, but we commit to the public that we will keep you posted on our progress. Each step of the way, you will have a report card on how we're progressing in achieving all of these goals that we've laid out today. It's time for everybody to be all in on reducing crime and making Louisville a safe city. Louisville should be one of the safest large cities in the country, and we can get there. But it's going to take everybody working together at every level of government in order to accomplish that. And that's what we're asking for today. With that said, let me first open up. Do any of my colleagues have any other comments or want to say anything before we move to questions?
I do.
Okay, Scott. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Scott Reed. I'm 16th District Metro Councilman. One of the things that I'm passionate about is camera surveillance for traffic. Other cities, other states do it. This would require a change in the state law, and we're going to advocate for that. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but people speed relentlessly in this city now, and the biggest reason for that is that we simply don't have enough cops, police officers, to write tickets. So I'm working with the state legislature. I know that Councilman Simon is as well. And this is something that I'm passionate about. It needs to have a reading in the next session, and we need to explore this. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Scott. Great point. Anybody else before I take questions? All right. Questions?
Why are these safety
I see a room. Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Why are they being proposed now? Was there a specific issue or a push or some statistics that led to this push?
Not particularly. I mean, this has been building over quite some time. I mean, I think the biggest thing is the election of these 12 members, right? It takes some time, particularly for some of the freshmen, right, to get their swing. And, the first half of the year, even though we don't start it officially until April, the budget sucks all the oxygen out of the room in the first half of the legislative year here. So it was just a matter of, we had already started doing some of these public safety initiatives, but we wanted to make sure that, first of all, we wanted to make sure that everybody in the caucus's voice was heard. We wanted to make sure we had all of these ideas on paper and we knew what we were going to come forward with. And then now that the budget's over and we can move forward, we can focus on this, we wanted to lay it out as quickly as possible. So there was no particularly triggering event other than we made these promises as a caucus. The public has, by electing 12 of us, put an unprecedented level of support and expectation behind us, and we wanted to coordinate that and make sure that we laid out the plan to the public in an organized fashion.
A lot of these initiatives require support from local police, state police, the judicial system, and mayor.
Correct.
Have you gotten any verbal support from any of those entities that, we would get behind?
Yeah, we're rolling this out right now, so we're talking to all of those organizations. Look, the mayor, to compliment him for a moment, he has said that public safety has been his number one issue, as it should be. We have seen some great support of LMPD out of his office. But to your point, we need to see, and I think Councilman Bratcher reflected this perfectly, we need to see more out of the governor's office. I think Governor Beshear, the juvenile justice system, a problem, for example, is a life or death problem, right? If we have this juvenile justice facility open, we can significantly change the course of how children are being impacted by crime across the city. And that's the kind of sense of urgency they should be approaching it with. So there's more conversation that need to be had with him, with the sheriff's office, with the county attorney's office, the Commonwealth attorney's office. We have received no pushback to date, but also we have more expectations of them that we're asking for now, and we'd like to see what their response is and hope that they'll work with us, along with our majority caucus colleagues and along with anybody else. This is, again, an all-in approach. We want everybody rowing in the same direction here. I suspect many will want to, but we wanted to make sure we were outlining that, to your point, this is not just an LMPD issue or not just a city issue. We need all of those organizations working together and working hard. Roberto, you've been waiting.
Can you just explain the increased monitoring of spas and potential human trafficking? I think Councilwoman
Jeff.
Coolidge said that this is something that's already in the works.
Yeah, we've been working on this since October with the help of the deputy mayors. A task force has been put together. We have identified 347 illegal massage parlors, whatever you want to call them, just in Jefferson County. And the amount of human trafficking that is taking place in these institutions is incredible. We've got cooperation from the FBI, Homeland Security, ABC, all of the alphabet agencies that you can think of, all pointed in the same direction to take care of this and shut them down and rescue these women out of the human trafficking situation that they're in. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, and again, just to point out, I mentioned earlier the existing ordinance related to curfews for juveniles. We have existing laws on the books around the licensure of massage therapists as well as massage parlors. Because of Jeff and other people's work in focusing on this, found out that the city wasn't enforcing these at all. So we know that human trafficking is largely happening in these institutions. And, I'm not saying they were letting it happen, but by not enforcing the laws on the books, this proliferated. And I'm so happy that Jeff and others have worked hard to try to reverse course, because what's happening to these, particularly women in these circumstances, is disgusting, frankly.
When are we going to get the new jail report, the facilities report? Was it Metro Council or was it the Criminal Justice Commission?
I'll have to double check on that. I don't know, but I'll point you to the last report that we did of corrections was, that I can remember at least, is David Byers' report when he was reviewing the deaths at the jail and all of this. And it was he interviewed everybody and their brother for that report. The focus was, of course, on how do we prevent adverse events for the incarcerated folks. Then Director Collins came on board. I think he's done a great job in turning that around. He has accepted most of the recommendations and executed most of the recommendations in that report, but that report very clearly indicates, and David Beyer has taught courses on and is an expert on corrections and facilities, and his report very clearly also states that we have a structural problem in that current facility. It is not, just the fact it's not an open model, for example, there's all these tight corners and hallways, makes it impossible to have easy line of sight from the corrections officers to the inmates. And what does that create? It creates more illegal activity, gives them people the opportunity to do harm to themselves versus being identified and the officers being able to react to that much more quickly. So it's truly a structural issue. We probably have time for one or two more questions.
Would you say that reopening the Juvenile Justice Center is the #1 priority out of everything on this list?
It sounds like it is just based on how often you guys are talking about it.
It's hard to say. This is all important, right? I don't want to sit here and play a game of 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then give the impression that any one of these things is not important. But I will say, the reason we talk about it so much and there's so much passion is because it's largely affecting children. And by that, I mean truly anybody under the age of 18. You're 18, you're an adult. You're 17 and below. I've got teenage children. A lot of my friends here have or have had teenage children. My colleagues across Metro Council. It strikes a whole different chord in your nervous system when it relates to children. So that's probably the reason we talk about it so much, but I don't want to play a game of ranking priorities, and at the same time, we do talk about it a lot, and I would say it's, if we were forced to rank, no doubt it would be right at the top.
What role did you see the public playing?
On that, as far as when you expect it to open, I don't think we've heard an updated.
I'll answer that, I'll answer this question, then we're gonna hold it from there. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, this started 3 years ago in the legislature. I passed House Bill 3. It funded it. It got the ball rolling. Louisville was on board 100%. The mayor at that time was on board 100%. It's 3 years, and they're just now really getting into the construction part of it. They do say late 27 is when it's going to be done. To me, that's just, like I said, if this was a dam getting ready to bust, that's hyperbole, I guess. It's just the emergency status that this should have is just, we're just not feeling it from Frankfurt. And we need them, DJJ and the governor's office, to come down and say, let's double our efforts and get this thing open.
Who'd you hear that from, late 27?
Jared Bauman, yeah.
Yeah, Jared Bauman had a hearing maybe a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and he asked the head of DJJ about accelerating things, what it would cost, why aren't they doing that? So yeah, I appreciate him staying on top of it from the state's point of view. We're advocating from our position, and I don't think Kevin's being hyperbolic in the slightest when he talks about, it seems from the state what we're getting is business as usual. This is not business as usual. And last question.
What role do you see the public playing in creating a safer Louisville?
That's a great question. Number one is cooperate with law enforcement. And I think this is apropos to Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, as Dan spearheaded in making this and designating this month in that manner. LMPD has done yeoman's work over the last several years in increasing their relationships, as they should, with all communities across the city. I can tell you that the communities that have some of the safest and lowest crime levels also report crime very actively. So number one, I would ask the community to play the role that you can play in reporting crime when you see it, when you hear it, when you know things, right? That's number one. Number two, and unfortunately, and I said it was ridiculous at the time, but it's important to say, sometimes even if ridiculous, that my colleague, Councilwoman Shanklin, put forward a resolution that we all unanimously supported, talking about the role that parents can play in knowing where your children are at, ensuring that if they're juveniles, they're home at a reasonable time, they're of course going to school and doing everything they're supposed to do. So, but really, if the public, from a juvenile justice point of view, is all in on helping our children, and then helping law enforcement be effective and cooperating appropriately, I think what we'll see is a significantly safer city across the board. So, thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.